to probiotics and taking multiple strains and the numbers of probiotics, is it true that more is better?
You know, and that's been one of the big issues with the probiotic industry for me as a researcher. So I've approached the probiotic industry as a microbiologist, somebody that studies bacteria and who has expertise in this area of bacterial study. And when I first started looking at probiotics, all I saw was companies kind of positioning their products that they have more strains, more CFUs, meaning higher concentrations. You know, we've seen products with 50 billion, 100 billion, 500 billion CFUs. And I started digging into the research to see what was the scientific substantiation behind this type of formulation. And I also started calling in a lot of these companies and talking to their formulators and scientific people and asking them, you know, what is your rationale behind creating a product with 50 billion versus 10 billion or 100 billion versus 50 billion? And as it turns out, there's really no scientific validation for any of that. None of that kind of dosing and formulation is rooted in good science. It's all marketing. The way a lot of the companies come across and try to develop products is that they see that their closest competitor has 10 strains and 20 billion CFUs. In their mind, they want to be at 12 strains and 25 billion CFUs. You know, that's just the mentality that's kind of taken over the formulation area. So I'm here to tell you, as someone who's been digging through the research endlessly and has done research on this stuff myself, and coming from it from a scientific standpoint, there's no scientific justification behind just more strains, more CFUs as being any better. In the probiotic space, it's quality over quantity. I would rather take a single strain at a couple billion CFUs that I know does something effective in the body than a product that has 15 strains in it and 100 billion CFUs, where most of them are just dying through the stomach and moving through the gastric system.
Kiran, can you tell us which strains are the most therapeutic?
So far in our research, we find that strains that have been identified to naturally survive through the gastric system and then have the ability to actually colonize within the gut itself tend to have the most diversity in function within the gut. So there are strains like Bifidobacterium infantis that has been shown to help with diarrhea. There's been Rhamnosus GG is a strain that's been shown to help lessen the duration of colds and flus, but they tend to have very narrow effects. They can do one or two things. The strains that we find that have the most universal effect in terms of improving the way the digestive system works, improving metabolic function, improving immune function, improving the flora in general, tend to be these Bacillus endospores. They're the most fascinating of strains that we've ever worked with. These Bacillus endospores kind of act as police of the gut, if you will. They kind of get in and regulate the environment, fix the imbalance of the flora, get rid of the bad bacteria and fungus and things that you don't want at high levels within your gut, and enhance the growth of the good guys. At the same time, they tend to fix the damage that's happened within the gut. A lot of that is damage to the gut lining, which makes the lining leaky itself. So I would say that the Bacillus endospores seem to be the most efficacious of all the strains we've ever looked at and ever tested.